I'm going to start by saying Vanakkam, Namaste, and good morning. It's nice to be with all of you today morning, and I thank TEDx for having me. I think it's an honor to be here today. When one asks me what is the reason why I chose to do what I do today, the first memory that comes into my mind is the vacation that I had when I was a 6-year-old back in my native place. I remember my aunt asking me, so Vivek, what would you like to be? And boom came the answer. Obviously, aunt, I'd like to be a police officer, bash up all the baddies, look smart, throw a couple of them in prison. There was no thinking. I was ready to go. That kind of held on, and until the next year when, she asked me again, so Vivek, what would you like to be? With some time, I think I decided that I've evolved from a police officer to be maybe a scientist. And that kind of came from the fact that my dad's an engineer, and he was with the ISRO, and he had taken me a couple of launches, and that kind of inspired me to build a rocket that would, drop a couple of buttons and, chocolates and whatever not at different parts of the world. And, that's how all of us think. This thought kind of held on to me for quite some time, and I really do not know when fashion seeped into my blood, but the little memories that I have is in school, there were, for anything and everything that was related to arts and craft, yes, I was a front runner, and where there was anything in sports, I would be missing, so you can imagine where I was. And I think I got the gene from my mom. And I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the both of them. My mom's a teacher, dad's an engineer. I hail from a very regular middle-class family in Trivandrum. And if I ask my parents, or if you ask my parents today about me, I think they would agree with me by saying that I was as stubborn as I am today, even before I was born. They had me very late. And the only thing when I look back, through all the years that I've been to the day I'm standing here today, is that I can't be more thankful that I am for them making me who I am today. Being the only child, I think the utmost care that they took was to make sure that I was not spoiled. You can imagine how a teacher would raise a child, right? So it was quite bad. She nagged the hell out of me. But today I look back and I say, thank you, Mom. Being the engineer that Dad is and the teacher that Mom is, and this is back in the 80s, being a fashion designer was unheard of. You were only successful or meant to be successful if you were either a doctor or an engineer, right? So I found it very difficult when I had decided that I wanted to do fashion to convince my parents that this is what I want to do, and I didn't want to do anything else. Because obviously, like every parent would, they were wanting the best for me, and they wanted me to be either an engineer or a doctor. So Dad made me actually write all the entrance examinations in the whole world. As in, I think I wrote around 10 entrance examinations, traveling all over India. I got a free trip all over India because of that. And I think I scraped through a couple of them and few I did not. And fortunately for me, I got through NIFT, which is the National Institute of Fashion Technology. And once that happened, I think that was my trump card to convince and push my parents to say that maybe, just maybe there is something in there which I can explore. So please let me do that. And they kind of tricked me into whatever they did next, because they said that if you have to do NIFT, you need to have a science background, and for that you need to do a pre-degree and so far and so on. The idea was that I do my pre-degree and then he kind of pushes me into an engineering stream, so far and so on. But the stubborn person that I am, I said, no, I'd like to do this. And with a lot of convincing and cajoling, they agreed to, thank you. They agreed to have me a part of NIFT. So I still remember my first day coming to Chennai. I alighted at the Egmore station and I walked into the city looking all around from, you know how it feels coming from a small town. I was wondering, how am I going to manage in a big city like this? You see so many more people, so many more buses, auto rickshaws all over, and auto rickshaw drivers standing with almost a knife at your throat saying, this is what I want, and otherwise I don't get a ride. So it was crazy just trying to find my way through this place, but I think my first feeling of Chennai when I came to this place was that I hated it. But today, I think it has grown up so much on me that I'm so smitten and I'm so much in love with this place. And that is what a place with beautiful people does. The experience at NIFT was fabulous, only because I think it made me in touch with people, students from all over the country, different backgrounds, socially, economically, financially, culturally, and I think that has been the most rewarding experience of my life, to be in touch with people from different backgrounds, because you learn so much. And I think the biggest thing is that it gave me an opportunity to live away from home. And when you live away from home, that is the only time when you realize the value of the small little things in life. And when I say the small little things in life, that morsel of food which you quietly chuck to the side without your parents seeing, today what you're dying to get, you know. That fan that you left on, which your parents asked you to, they kept nagging you, why are you putting the light on, why are you putting the fan on? And you go on saying, oh my God, don't they have anything else to do? But then when you start paying those bills, you realize how important it is. So I think in a certain sense, it makes you realize the value of life. NIFT was fabulous only because, secondly because, I think it made me understand that I think I made the right choice. Having said that, yes, okay, I'm on. That was my dream. That was my passion. And the passion kind of evolved into the few little things that I did in college in terms of illustrations and you know, the little projects that you had in school, so far and so on. Now, you know, one thing that I remember about NIFT and my days at NIFT was that my dad used to send me a very, very small amount as a pocket, you know, as pocket money. It used to be 500 rupees per month. And stationery was damn expensive and I couldn't survive with the pocket money Dad sent. And obviously I did not want to ask, you know, Dad for anything more. So it was at that point of time that I decided, okay, let me start trying to do things on my own. And just because I wanted to support myself and to help myself do something better, I decided to work part-time. I will tell you the reason why I'm saying this a little later. So I decided to work part-time in a restaurant where I used to be working from 7 in the evening to 2 in the morning, and I used to be a waiter. So I used to make 600 rupees per month, which was my salary, and I used to make another 1,000 rupees as tips, just because I used to be good to them. I used to make 1,600 rupees plus 500 rupees, which was a fabulous amount to help me survive my course at NIFT in terms of the stationery and so far and so on. The pride that I had earning that little bit that I got from my experience there, I still feel the goosebumps when I talk about it, because I just believe that that little extra thing that you do and what you earn gives you so much more pleasure than that money coming to you so easily from anyone that you love and you like. So I would just use this as a platform and an opportunity to tell all of you that I think it's amazing when you do something on your own, and the most important thing is dignity of labor. Okay, I don't know if I'm expected to speak about this being the fashion designer that I am, but I think the person that you are is more important than who you are and what you do professionally. So that is the reason why I said whatever I said. I think I'm running out of time and the iPad has gone to bed. So should I just, okay. All right, these are the couple of things that, okay. So, going through my journey, after NIFT, I was actually picked up by one of the, nicest design companies in the city, and I created history by being the only guy to be in the design department after a span of 10 years. I don't know if it was a good or bad thing, but I definitely felt good being among a lot of women. No one complains. It was a fabulous experience working with a lot of European labels, and I think that whole experience did quite shape my design aesthetic today and whatever it has evolved into. Okay. Great. So, I think this is having some issues. Okay, all right. So, the journey while while at work was fabulous because having evolved from NIFT and as an individual, it was towards a student becoming a professional. Now, when I say a student becoming a professional, I think it's very important for one to realize that there is a very thin line between honing your skills as a student and then you stepping into the shoes of a professional. Because while you are a professional, you are expected to be nothing but a professional while you still have all the qualities that you have as a person. And the reason why I say that is today I feel I interact with a lot of students, I interact with a lot of professionals who come into our organization where I just feel that everyone would like to have everything easy and on the platter. But I just think that maybe that is not the best way forward because you learn everything in life by getting your fingers nothing but dirty. And the biggest foundation that you can build is by putting every brick and mortar one step at a time and making that foundation really solid, because when someone comes and asks you what lies beneath, you exactly know the wireframe beneath that brick and mortar that you built. And having that sense of security is nothing but fabulous. My journey into the fashion world happened after I left the job that I was in and decided to do fashion, serious fashion. That happened by mistake because I decided to do a master's in fashion, and 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave to Milan to pursue my master's at the Domus Academy, I got an invitation from the Lakme Fashion Week saying that you've been selected as one of the Gen X designers. I kind of fell off my chair because I knew that, at a platform like that, no one really cares where you come from, who you are, what is your background. The only thing that matters is the product. And having sensed that, I quickly, kind of scampered around, borrowed some money from a friend, rented a sewing machine, went around the place buying some fabrics, and that is how we created my first ever Lakme Fashion Week collection. Yeah, so that was Dark Romance, my first ever collection at Lakme Fashion Week. Now, being at Lakme Fashion Week was a thrilling experience, and it kind of made me understand a lot about the fashion scenario in the country, only because usually when we walk into a room, we're not used to blowing kisses in the air and making hoo-ha about who you are, because that's how we are built. But I understood that having represented fashion in the North, you're expected to do that, because if you quietly walk into a room without blowing kisses in the air, you are, chances are that someone calls you out and asks you to give you a bottle of water, So you just need to be a fashion designer, you need to look the fashion designer. So this has been an evolution, as in I've learned over the years, and I think the most important thing is that you learn to adapt yourself without losing yourself, and that is the trick. And for an industry as such, which is fashion and entertainment, where so much around is fake rather than what it should be, I think there is a very thin line between losing yourself as a person and still being yourself and doing what you are. The trick is to adapt, and you should do that without losing yourself. That would be my advice. The many collections at Fashion Week, made us aware that yes, possibly there is something that people liked. And I still remember when we had a stall at Fashion Week, we had people come over and ask us, so where are you from? And even before you could answer, they ask Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay. So when you go Chennai, as in how could you be from Chennai? As in it sounded alien to be from Chennai and to do good work. So, you know, I think at that moment I decided that I'm going to put in my best effort, my best foot forward to be a catalyst to put Chennai on the fashion map. And even today we strive towards doing that. We have a long way to go. These are the few snapshots of the collections that we've done at Fashion Week. And what we've been doing in fashion has also spilled onto a couple of projects that we've done, styling celebrities for various photo shoots and you know, movies. We've styled Ajit for you know, the movie Asal, which was meant to be a very stylish movie. Different stars we've styled for different editorials and fashion spreads. And the experience has been fabulous working with these stars because it kinds you put, you know, it brings a reality of who people are, how they respect you and where they come from, interacting with the greats. Because you understand that, about that little curtain or the little wall that all of them have, and you understand how to deal with each of them, which is very important, I think, in today's world, because you know, you being you just does not help. I think you, being able to reach across and understand what you know, what another person wants is equally very important. We've been lucky enough to do a lot of things for stars, celebrities, sportsmen in the country and otherwise. And you know, I think one of the things that I look forward to is to be associated with them to do better things so that we as a label can put Chennai on the fashion map. Now, let me take this time to also make a very earnest request to all of you here that, like Pete said in the morning and like Sharanya was also mentioning about, you do your best when you're passionate about what you're doing. It doesn't cost to dream. So I think that every one of you sitting here, from whatever age group that you are in, should not stop dreaming. Because a dream can be the only fuel that is going to edge you forward in whatever journey that you embark on. So be brave, be courageous, don't shy away, and always remember that it always is a great feeling when you take a risk and when it pays off. And having said that, like Richard Branson once said, always have a backup plan when you have a risk, when you take a risk. Because without having a backup plan, and if you take a risk, then you might end up being the fool. So I would just end this session by saying that love yourself first, because that is the most important that you need to do. Love what you're doing, and do the best that you can in whatever that you do. All right? Thanks for having me here, and thanks for being patient.